Hello and welcome to the eSeller webinar. Today we're looking at tips on how to have a successful Christmas shopping season, with Christmas but 44 days away or something. And it's brought to you today by eSeller and our kind sponsors MyHermes. You'll be hearing today from Chris Dawson from Tamebay and from Joanne Morley from MyHermes and from me, Paul Skeldon, the acting editor at eSeller. I think without further ado, it's time to get going. So, Chris, over to you. Talk us through the top tips on how to have a successful Christmas shopping season.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining. And today, as Paul said, we're really going to take a look at what's going on with marketplaces and the web in general. And it's coming up close to Christmas. For things like, if you've not got your stock ordered already, it's probably getting to almost be too late. But there are still a lot of things we can do to make sure that Christmas 2015 is even more successful. So what we're going to look at today is some changes that are coming to eBay for next year, some do's and don'ts for packing parcels, top tips for making sure that when your customers are on your website, they're seeing the products that you want them to be buying and making the best out of the stock that you've got, and covering everything you need to know about fulfillment in the run-up to Christmas this year. So first of all, eBay and their objective standards, which are coming in this year, next year, and we're going to take a look at how this is going to affect your dispatch rules and what you can be thinking about for setting up ready for 2016. eBay are changing their standards, or the standards they measure sellers on, and in the future there will only be two ways you can get what eBay call a defect, and they rate you on how many defects they get from you. So basically they're asking your customers to say, are you a good seller, a bad seller, did something go wrong with the transaction? And currently there are about 7 ways you can get a defect. For instance, if a buyer needs to return something, that can be classed as a defect. But in the future, from early February, eBay are going to cut that down to just 2 ways, and they're both under your control. So at the moment, eBay measure you on whether your customer has got an issue, which may or may not be your fault, like the delivery arrived late. In the future, the only 2 ways you'll be able to get a defect are if you cancel an order, maybe because you dropped the product and broke it, or you've oversold by accident because you're selling on eBay and Amazon and your own website, or possibly, we all know what it's like in a warehouse, if you just can't physically find the product on the shelf when you come to sell it. Maybe it's something that's been there 2-3 months and it's got moved around in the warehouse inadvertently, and you have to cancel the order. Whichever way you cut it, it's quite hard to say that's the buyer's fault. It's really your fault as the retailer. You're in full control of that. Maybe not in full control because you've lost the product, but it's your fault. And the other way that you'll be able to get a defect, and the only other way, is if a buyer has an issue with an order and for whatever reason you can't resolve it yourself, and the buyer escalates that case to eBay without you being able to resolve it. Now, as a retailer, there should be pretty much no situation you can't resolve. So hopefully moving forward, the only times you should really be looking at a defect is when you have to cancel an order, which should be a very, very rare occurrence. Now, eBay are giving everyone an allowance for defects. They know that these things happen. So they're changing the criteria. They're tightening it down so that you won't be able to have more than 2% of transactions with defects, which pretty much means, so long as you resolve all issues with buyers, that you can lose 2 things out of 100 and no action will be taken against your account. Now, if you're losing 2 things out of 100, it's probably time to do a full warehouse audit and a full stock check and make sure that the stock that's listed is correct. 2 out of 100 is quite a high instant rate of having to cancel orders. If you're a top-rated seller, it's 0.5%, which means 1 item out of 200. And again, that's actually quite high when you think about it. You should be able to find the stock that you've got listed. And for the number of cases closed by eBay without seller resolution, that's 0.3% or no more than 2, which is the same as it's currently at the moment. So basically, eBay are making it very much easier for us. They won't count returns. They won't count technical queries from buyers. They won't even count items that are lost in the post, so long as you resolve it either with a replacement or with a refund. It's only if you cancel an order yourself or if a case is escalated to eBay. So that's actually really good news from eBay's point of view. They're putting all of the power back in the seller's hands and giving you full control of your business. And the second thing eBay are bringing in is what they call an on-time delivery metric. Now, first of all, the good news on this new metric is it will not count towards your defect rate. It will be a separate metric that eBay measure. And there are 3 ways that eBay will count as you having an on-time delivery. One is when your item is handed over to the Royal Mail or your courier and they scan it, as soon as it shows accepted by the carrier and in their network, eBay will class that as an on-time delivery. In the past, eBay asked buyers, was the seller's dispatch time good? Did they dispatch in the time they promised? That was really tricky, especially if it was a slower economy delivery service, because it might take 2-3 days for the item to arrive, at which time, especially if they bought on a Thursday and it didn't arrive till Monday or Tuesday the following week, they're thinking, well, I bought this last week, it was quite a slow delivery. So now eBay is saying is, yeah, even if you supplied an economy slow service, so long as you ship it and we can see that it was accepted by the courier in the time scale that you promised, we'll count that as an on-time delivery. We won't even bother asking the buyer anymore. The second way you can get an on-time delivery is if the item is delivered on time and the tracking shows that, yes, whichever courier or Royal Mail that you used, they actually delivered it on time and the item was scanned. And a really good thing here is Royal Mail have just introduced 2D barcodes, which should now be on all of your outgoing parcels and large letters if you're using a business account. If you take them to the post office, perhaps not, but if you've got a Royal Mail business account, or just about every courier in the country will scan an item at the doorstep. And if eBay can see that delivery scan, they'll class that as an on-time delivery. If something goes totally wrong, and for some reason the courier doesn't scan, doesn't have an acceptance scan, and they don't have a delivery scan, or perhaps you're shipping not with Royal Mail, but with a 2D barcode, but perhaps it's gone in a normal letter post, so there's no tracking. eBay will then ask the buyer, did the item arrive on time? And again, if the buyer says the item arrived on time, then eBay will class that as an on-time delivery. And the really interesting thing here is, if you had an acceptance scan by the courier and you shipped it late, so the acceptance scan showed the item was accepted late, and consequently, if the courier delivers the item late, and the buyer then still says, yes, the item arrived on time, even though eBay know you were late, because the buyer was happy, it will still count as an on-time delivery. Now, if eBay haven't got any of this information because it's an untracked item and the buyer doesn't answer the question if it arrived on time or not, it won't count towards your on-time delivery rate. Now, as I said, eBay won't count this as being a defect. What they may do is if you're consistently having late deliveries and you're promising I'll dispatch it the same day for a next day delivery service, and you're always dispatching late and buyers are saying that your item arrived late, eBay may say, actually, we're not going to let you promise same day dispatch anymore. We'll make you promise next day dispatch, and we'll make you promise a 48-hour delivery instead of a 24-hour delivery. So they'll just limit the shipping options available to you. So again, it's really putting everything back in your control. And one of the great things about this is in the past, everyone has been pushed towards the concept of buyers wanting next day delivery and expecting everything in a hurry. Now, for eBay, this means we can start looking at economy services like MyHermes, which will save us money, especially if we're offering free post. We can now offer an economy service. And because the item's going to be tracked, eBay will be able to see that we shipped it on time and class it as an on-time delivery, even though it might take 2 or 3 days for the parcel to get to the customer. Now, let me just bring Joanne from MyHermes in here. Joanne, do we get an acceptance scan with MyHermes?
Yeah, so you'll get it either at the parcel shop. So if you drop off at a parcel shop, you'll get an acceptance scan there. Or if you have courier pickup, if you choose courier pickup, you'll get a scan there when you hand the parcel over. So at those 2 points, you should get an acceptance scan.
So actually, if I've got a collection from home with MyHermes, at my door when MyHermes collect my parcels, I'll get an acceptance scan, and eBay will say, we can see that scan, this is an on-time delivery, or the same in a parcel shop when I hand my parcel over there?
Yeah, it's exactly the same. So they'll be scanned at both those points. Maybe the very odd time whether there's an issue, it's a problem with the barcode or something like that, but 99.99% of the time it'll be scanned at the point you hand over the parcel.
And I think
so you can get that acceptance scan then.
I think that's brilliant news, because so many of us, I know, have started using expensive 24-hour couriers purely so that items arrive next day and buyers say, yeah, it was dispatched fast. And
yep.
Buyers never looked at dispatch time as when I dispatched it. They always seem to look at it as, was it delivered fast? And this really could save us an awful lot of money by using economy services like MyHermes, where we know we've got the acceptance scan and eBay are going to class this as delivered on time, even though the buyer might think, well, it took 2 or 3 days to arrive. So good news and an opportunity to save some money from next year. Now, moving on, now we know we can save some money on shipping parcels. Moving on to packing them. Now, I have to laugh because I've got this picture on the screen at the moment of the type of parcel my sister used to send me. And it's a parcel, it's wrapped up with string, it's got a parcel label on it, or I like to call it a parcel tag, and comparing that to a nice square box parcel. Now, people often think that they're packing a parcel well, and my sister always thinks, bless her, that wrapping it up with a bit of brown paper and some string and a label is the way to go. But realistically, nowadays, pretty much every courier or carrier in the land, from Royal Mail to MyHermes, has automated machinery, and they have conveyor belts and slides. And well, Joanne, you're with MyHermes. Tell us about how your sorting operation works.
Well, we have depots and hubs. And the depot, some of the small depots, things are hand sorted, but a lot of the depots now, things will be put on conveyor belts and they'll be sorted that way. But our main hubs in Warrington, everything is mechanised, so it'll come in, it will go up some conveyor belts, it'll go along, it'll be scanned. It's very unlikely it'll touch human hands. So just sticking fragile on really doesn't help, because a lot of the time, until there is one point where it's put in the lorry at the very end, but up until then, you need to make sure that your items are packed really, really well. And we've just, I'm just signed off this morning actually about 6 videos on how to do that. They'll be up on the site in the next few days, I think. So there should be some helpful tips there as well.
So that's on the MyHermes site. So what you're saying is a fragile label really isn't a packaging substitute?
No. It's good. I mean, put it on by all means. Let people know. But you need to. We ran a competition back, oh gosh, about 2 or 3 months ago on Facebook, and we asked people for their packaging tips. And the lady that won said that what she does is she gives it a little shake test. So she makes sure that everything doesn't move around inside. So she wraps it all, puts it in bubble wrap, puts newspaper around that, and just gives it a little shake and makes sure everything's all right. I know that we've got a small customer who sends mugs, and in fact I saw him a couple of weeks ago just by chance, and he said that that's exactly what he does. He makes sure that he wraps the mug in bubble wrap, packs around it, gives the box a little shake, nothing's moving around inside, and he's never had any damages. I think he's had one, I think that's it. So, he's fairly happy.
So it's all about the packing. I have to say, when I was selling full time on eBay, and I was working from home because I was only a small seller at the start. My office stroke warehouse was the spare bedroom, and my test was everything went over the banister and rolled down the stairs, and if it could get to the bottom of the stairs in one piece, it was good to go through the courier network. If there was a crunch, I knew I had a bit of a problem because I'd just broken the customer's item, but just throw everything over the banister and let it roll down the stairs. And if your items can't survive that, they're probably not going to survive going through an automated sorting system with conveyor belts and chutes and slides in a courier warehouse. And the other thing is, don't forget that your wrapping should be disposable. Rather amusingly, I once received a parcel which I paid for gift wrap for, and it arrived gift wrapped with the courier label stuck on, i.e. the wrapping paper with the courier label on the outside. Gift wrap also isn't packaging. If you're gift wrapping it, it should be gift wrapped and then go in a box and suitably secured with packing materials and the outer box taped and then the label. So packing, I think we pretty much all know what good packing looks like when it arrives. We get goods all of the time arriving, but worth remembering at this time of year, people are waiting for their Christmas presents. If something arrives broken because it's damaged en route, there may not be time to replace it before Christmas. And also, make sure that labels are secure. Either use proper delivery labels printed out onto thermal paper, peel and stick paper, or make sure that they're taped on securely. Don't rely on taped labels.
I was going to say, could I add a tip in there?
Of course.
One of the big issues we have in some of our hubs and depots is that sometimes the labels come off, and therefore we don't know who sent the item or where it's going to. So we always recommend that you print off a copy of the label and put it inside, so at least we can open it up and work out where it needs to go. A lot of our lost MyHermes traffic is because there's no label inside and the labels come off. So one of the big tips for this Christmas, I'd say, if you get a chance, just put a little printed copy of the label inside before you seal it up. Then if the label does come off, we can make sure it gets through to your customers.
So either a copy of the label or at the very minimum a copy of the invoice so it's got a from and to address.
Absolutely, yeah.
We have a question that's just popped up here, which I will interject at this point because it is relevant to what we're talking about right now, from Robert Jenkins. As how do MyHermes prove that they have not damaged an item should it arrive damaged at the customer? And is there any sort of cover for this?
It depends, because different things. So we only cover for certain items. So £25 compensation's included, but it only covers certain items. So we have a list of items it doesn't cover. For example, fragile items. There's a whole list you can go and have a look at. So it depends how it's become damaged. So I'm guessing normally we pay out on our compensation claims if it's covered by compensation, if we've damaged it, if we're at fault. I guess it's not a question of who's damaged it. If it has become damaged in our network and it's covered by compensation, then we will pay out, and we have done. So right. I can't see. I'm going to say if this gentleman's got a particular issue, get him to get in touch with me if he's had an issue with customer services or anything like that. Just get him to get in contact with me directly. But as far as I'm aware, everything that's covered by compensation, if it's damaged when it's in our care, then yes, we pay out compensation. And the different compensation levels. I think the important thing to note as well is that £25 included as a minimum, but if it is worth more, we have extra compensation levels. So just make sure you choose the right compensation level for your parcel. So if we do damage it, then we can pay out.
Okay, great. So Robert Jenkins, if you're listening, if you have a particular issue, contact us and we'll pass you on to Joe. If not, there's a nice general overview, and there's more on MyHermes' website. Right, as you were, chaps.
Yeah, and but instead, if anyone's got any questions, feel free to email me, and I can pass it on to the appropriate person at MyHermes or eSeller. My email is just chris@tamebay.com. So now we know how we can ship parcels and hopefully save some money with economy deliveries. We know how to pack them, and we've got the gift wrapping. So now I really want to get into the tips to help you make money at Christmas. Forget about saving money on deliveries, that's a bit of a bonus on the bottom line. But how can we actually sell more for this Christmas season? And I always like to think of it as gift hampers. Now, Joe, Paul, do you guys have food hampers at home at Christmas?
Yes.
I do occasionally, yes.
You do both do. Because I never quite get gift hampers, but they're so popular in the UK because there's always something left in the hamper that I just don't like, and it'll be like a jar of ginger marmalade or some caramelized nuts or something that are just left there that no one really wants. But we Brits seem to love hampers, and we buy them each year. And sometimes I look at the hamper and I think, you know what? This shopping list of products in the hamper, I could go and buy all of those individual products cheaper than I could buy them in the hamper and save some money. And yet so many of us still buy hampers at Christmas. And this is a bit like how you should be selling your products on the internet, thinking of it as a hamper or as a gift set. Pick products that you can put together to make a gift set. And it's like loads of us in the past have bought DVDs, but so many of us love our DVD box sets, and we'll buy a box set of DVDs to sit down and watch. And think of your products as a box set, and it does two things. First of all, if you can get people to buy multiple products at one time, it instantly increases your basket size, your average, say, order value. Now, increasing your average order value is one of the best ways of making more money. It's a lot easier to get one customer to spend more than it is to go and find a second customer to spend the same amount. And it also guides products to your top products that you want to sell this Christmas. And there's an example. Here's one I found on Amazon, which is a 5-piece bicycle gift set. And it's got a bicycle pump and a lock and a water bottle and a holder and a repair kit. And what someone's done is they've gone and got these 5 products and put them together to make a gift set. And it doesn't matter what type of products you're selling, you can always put them together and bundle them. And it could be, you could be selling scented candles. Well, don't sell one scented candle, put 2 or 3 of maybe different sizes or different scents together. If you are, even if you're selling DVDs and they're not in box sets, you can still put a bundle of 3 DVDs together or 3 books by the same author. It really doesn't matter what products you're selling, but if you can put them together as a gift set, you've then got a gift set that you can start marketing. And the first thing you should be doing for Christmas is making sure that your website or your eBay shop has got a Christmas category. Make sure you've got some shop banners to drive traffic to that Christmas category. Use promotion boxes on eBay. Use email marketing to let your customers know. Guide them towards this Christmas category that you've got, and make sure that in the Christmas category you've got your gift sets, or if we're talking about eBay or your website solution, it's probably called something technical like product bundling, but don't call it a bundle to your customer. Call it a Christmas cycling gift set, or gift set for your favorite cyclist, or gift sets for him, gift sets for her, gift sets for children. It's like, I'm sure most of us as children had the chocolate selection boxes, and we love them. And I look at them today, and the chocolates appear to have got a lot smaller from what I remember, and the boxes are a lot smaller. But most children love to have a chocolate selection box for Christmas. Most adults love to have a gift set. And if you think about the presents that you go and buy people, if you're walking down the high street, you're in Debenhams or Marks and Spencer's or wherever, your eyes are naturally drawn towards their gift sets, whether it be gift sets for the bath with the bubble baths and bath salts, or whether it be the cycling gift sets or the gardening gift sets. in fact, gardening is a good example because we are a nation that loves our gardens. You might have a trowel, a fork, a spade. Why not put them together? Three items from the same manufacturer. Even if the manufacturer hasn't made them into a gift set, you can market them as a gift set on your website. And as I say, it does two things. First of all, it guides your buyers towards the products that you want to sell this Christmas. And secondly, most importantly, if someone buys a gift set, it automatically increases your average order value, and you probably don't even have to discount the three individual items very much, if at all. You may, for instance, currently offer free shipping, and if someone buys a product, the shipping price is included. If you put 3 or 4 products together as a gift set, you've got an automatic discount because you've charged shipping 4 times. Now you've only got to charge shipping once. So you can give them a discount on the gift set, but it's not cost you money. It has increased your average order size. So top tip for selling this Christmas is gift sets. Now we've also got to make sure that our goods get to the customers on time by Christmas Eve at the very latest. Importantly, I would say it's important to offer a choice of delivery options this year, and that can include delivery speed, whether it's going to be a next day service or a 2 or 3 day service, as well as options. For instance, can you offer with your courier the ability to leave the parcel with a neighbour if your customer's out? Can they nominate a safe place? If you're selling on eBay, consider offering click and collect at Argos with eBay. Now, Joe, we're all busy people. What do MyHermes do to help us get things delivered on time? What can a MyHermes courier do?
I think from our point of view, we're geared up for peak. So all our hubs are ready and waiting for all the parcels. When this lovely weather stops, this mild weather stops, and people start buying winter coats and things like that, and start buying Christmas presents, which I think will come very, very soon. So we've got lots of contingency plans for that. But we can either get delivered to a neighbour, we can have signed for if you want that. You can have it left in a nominated safe place. So if the customer that you're sending it to wants it left in a nominated safe place, say a greenhouse or something along those lines, you can put that on the order. So those are things that we offer at the moment. I know other services that you can go, and from eBay you can have it delivered to Argos, can't you, as well? So there's various different options. I think it's what your customer wants, really. Everybody's different. We just did a survey of about 2,000 online shoppers, and yeah, everyone's different. Some people work and want it delivered to a safe place or a neighbour. Some people don't and want it delivered to their home. So it just depends. And some people who work want it to their office if they're allowed to. So I think it's what suits your customer.
Is there an optimum number of delivery options? Because I know sort of on Amazon, there's something like 72 combinations of possible things. Obviously, no one displays all 72. But is there such a thing as giving them too much choice?
Yeah, there is. I was on a website last week. I can't remember. I was buying some. That's it. I was buying some clothes. I ride horses, and there was something like 16 different options for me to choose. There was next day signed for with next day. There was courier. There was roll mail. There was roll mail recorded. It was too much. I just all I wanted, probably just wanted an option of next day in 2 to 3 days, and I would have been fine with that.
I think, and also having a kind of click here for more options. I think if for those people that do want something really specific, it's a click through, isn't it, rather than sort of just displaying everything, because it can get very confusing.
It was too much choice for me. I didn't really want them quickly, and all I really wanted probably was a service, perhaps like we or the MyHermes, the Royal Mail offer a second class 2 to 3 day service. That would have been fine for me. That's usually
what it is, isn't it? It's next day and standard, basically. Yep.
Yeah, and I think that's really important, because there's some things that I've bought in the past which I'm really not in a hurry with, but the only option I'm offered is next day delivery, and quite frankly, I'd rather save a bit of money. And then there's other times that it's something really, really stupid, but I really need it in a hurry, and it's the sort of product that no one else would ever need in a hurry, but I need it tomorrow. Maybe I'm going to an event or something, and it's something I just really have to have tomorrow, and all I'm offered is an economy service. It's going to take 2 or 3 days. And I think just offering that choice of delivery options, And it's difficult if you're selling on eBay to offer things like a safe place or leave with neighbour, although some couriers will automatically do that for you. But if you've got your own website and you've got the facility to collect notes from your customers that can be printed out on the delivery notes, leave it with number 22 because I'm going to be out today, or leave it in the greenhouse, just makes life so much easier for the couriers. And at the end of the day, everyone that's buying something, they do want to get those goods because they've bought them and paid for them. They don't want to have to go chasing around or waiting in for day after day for them to arrive. So if you can make it easy for them by picking up those leave with neighbour or leaving a safe place notes, so much the better.
I think as well, you have to, particularly with next day delivery, you have to fulfill it. I have had many experiences in the past few weeks with things where I've wanted them the next day. Again, I needed a new notepad because I was going to an event, and I wanted it the next day. And I paid extra to have it the next day, and it didn't arrive. And this has happened on a number of occasions, and I think that it infuriates me because it's cost me money, and you've taken my money and failed to do it. And you can ring up and often get a refund, but that's just a load more hassle, and I still haven't had the goods when I need them. So I think if you are going to offer next day delivery, you have to be 99% certain that bar sort of hell and high water, you can get it there, because that I think is one of the most sort of damaging things you can do is to sort of take someone's money from next day delivery and not deliver it then.
And that's why it's important on sites like eBay and your website to have very clearly displayed cut-off times.
Absolutely.
But if it's by 2 o'clock, it will be shipped today, you will have it tomorrow. And if it's coming towards Christmas and you're just getting busier and busier and busier, move that cut-off time backwards to 12 o'clock, to 11 o'clock, to 10 o'clock.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter what, you even have a 9 a.m. cut-off time if you want, so long as people know if I buy it after 9 a.m. I won't get it tomorrow, but if I buy it before I will. Obviously, ideally, we'd have a cut-off time at about 5 o'clock at night, but realistically, for most people, their courier's already collected by then.
Yeah.
But leave yourself time, and if you're struggling with fulfillment to Christmas, just give yourself a bit more grace by moving that time back forward to, say, 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning rather than 2 or 3 in the afternoon. It depends how busy your warehouse is.
Yeah, and that would be much better. Interestingly, the last thing I had that failed to arrive next day, I was told by the courier that it hadn't been given to them by the merchant, which was quite interesting because I was now much more predisposed to like the courier than I was the brand that I bought these goods from, who I won't embarrass publicly right now. But, it's interesting. It caused me way more anger than I thought it would. It really, really annoyed me. So yes, so there you go. That's a very important aspect of it. I think is getting the manageable next day delivery. Right.
And I do think that's often the case. So we've already kind of discussed this. Offer a range of choices. Now, what you're seeing on the screen here is the choices that eBay offer you. Obviously, you don't have to offer them all. But importantly, Black Friday's coming up. Quite frankly, for Black Friday, most people don't need their Black Friday purchases on a 24-hour courier. Thing is, they're probably buying Christmas presents. They know they're probably getting a bargain on Black Friday. They're looking for discounts and they're looking for bargain goods. And if you're getting a bargain price, you don't necessarily expect an absolute premium service with it. So definitely for Black Friday, consider any gift sets that you're offering, put them on an economy service regardless. People don't need them in a hurry. They're not paying top dollar. They're looking for a bargain. So give them a bargain service. Obviously allow them to upgrade to next day delivery if they want to, but guide them towards an economy service. Importantly, as you just highlighted, Paul, tracking and notifications gives a huge amount of confidence to the customer. And like you said, as soon as you knew that it wasn't the courier's fault, you were blaming the retailer. And that's why it's essential that the retailer gets their part right. Once they hand it across the courier, most couriers, surprisingly, considering the amount of complaints we see, but most couriers actually do the job that they promised to do. And if they say it's going to be here next day, most of the time it actually does arrive next day. Although at busy times of the years, we know things slow down. And although it might be annoying that something's going to arrive tomorrow instead of today, so long as you give me the tracking to say, actually, it's going to be delivered tomorrow, not today, it means I've not got to sit in all day waiting for it to arrive. And then finally, the point we just made about cut-off times, know what your cut-off time is. At your cut-off time, the most important thing to do is get everything you promised to be delivered next day shipped first. If it's an economy service, doesn't matter so much because they're going to wait 2 or 3 days anyway. But if you've promised it for next day, at your cut-off time, make sure that all of your orders for the 24-hour service are printed out at the top of the pile, at the top of the packing list, however you organise your warehouse. Make sure that those are the orders that get fulfilled first. Even if you're having to check every 20 minutes for orders or every 10 minutes because you're quite busy in the warehouse, drag those next day delivery orders out that you've promised for next day, right up to your cut-off time and get them shipped. The economy orders can be done later in the day, and if they're a day late, well, they've paid for an economy service anyway, so not quite as important. And finally, make sure you've got some backup plans in place. Christmas last year, 2014, was an absolute disaster as far as couriers go. Yodel, bless them, just got absolutely flooded and actually had to stop collecting goods from customers for a couple of days. Their network was just full of parcels they couldn't move. Christmas Day, CityLink went into administration. If you were using CityLink, you're having your Christmas dinner, you watch the news in the afternoon, CityLink's gone bust, tomorrow is Boxing Day, you're going back to work the next day, on this year it'll be the Tuesday, and you haven't got a courier, and the chances of signing up for a courier between Christmas and New Year are pretty slim. So the first thing I would say to everyone is make sure you've got multiple courier options in place. And also consider signing up for a parcel delivery comparison site so that you can leverage the couriers that they have. And all you need to do with most couriers is just send one parcel with them or a couple of parcels to test their service between now and Christmas to make sure that if you need them, you can use them. And I'm sure, Joe, is there any limit to the? Do I have to send a certain volume through MyHermes, or would you happy if I just sent one parcel as a test and then had an account ready to go?
Just send a couple of parcels, try it out. A lot of our SME customers have done that, so they may just send. Those are the ones that send sort of over 150 a week. Some of them start off just by sending just a few parcels to the network, see how it goes, and then they either slowly build up, or if those parcels go well, then they might shift to having a business account. But yeah, if you send one or two parcels, see how it works for you.
So you've got no problem with be kind of using it as a backup just in case something goes wrong with CityLink or whoever it is this year?
No, we'd be very happy.
I think most businesses are the same. You really shouldn't rely, especially in the run up to Christmas, just on a single courier. Whether it be Royal Mail, CityLink, Yodel, MyHermes, or whoever, make sure you've got multiples in place. And don't forget that it's going to be a busy time of year, and it may not even be the courier that fails. It may be that you hit your credit limit with the courier, and couriers often have credit limits. If you're suddenly shipping a lot more volume than normal, you might find that you've got to pay the bill before they'll let you ship any more. But it may be that you've been selling it on Amazon and you're not going to get your money from Amazon until next week or the week after. So if it's a cash flow problem, again, that's your issue. But having an extra courier as a backup isn't a bad idea. And also, if a courier does have an issue this year, you want to be able to switch instantly, especially if it's pre-Christmas and you've got to get those Christmas presents to your customers. And then, it sounds obvious, but make it someone else's problem. Consider using a fulfilment service. Now, if you're selling on Amazon, Amazon, as Paul said, they offer about 70 different delivery options to their buyers. So they offer 3 different delivery speeds, or 4 actually, because you can have a pre-1 a.m. delivery as well. And then they offer delivery to home, delivery to safe place, delivery to neighbour, delivery to a whole host of Amazon lockers, delivery to dawdle at train stations, in any combination you choose to pick. and they can offer all of those services to your buyers for you. But also, don't forget, Amazon can also ship your eBay website orders for you. If you've got your products in Amazon fulfillment, they can fulfill orders from eBay, from your website, or from any other venues that you sell on. You just tell Amazon, please ship product X to customer Y, and they will fulfill it for you. And if you're not selling on Amazon or not using Amazon fulfillment, don't forget there are a whole host of fulfillment services out there, companies who specialize in doing fulfillment, and they will have, as I said, a range of courier options, the same things that you should be looking at, so that they can use different couriers if one service has a particular problem. So consider fulfillment, and don't put your slow-moving lines in fulfillment. Put your fastest moving lines in fulfillment. If you know something's going to sell and you're going to sell 100 of these products and 100 products a week before Christmas, put those 100 products a week into the fulfillment service, and that leaves you with a much smaller load for your own warehouse. Now, Christmas also doesn't end when you ship your last parcel. Yes, it's a relief. We've got the last shipment out the door. It's the day before Christmas Eve. Everything's now shipped on a 24-hour courier for Christmas Eve delivery. But unfortunately, we're likely to get some returns over the Christmas period. Now, first and foremost, it's very easy for a reseller to concentrate on selling, and kind of returns happen, but they just get put on a table on the side and we'll deal with them later. Now, first of all, returns are your cheapest form of stock, basically because you've already paid for them. And the question you should always ask yourself with returns is, can I get this product resold this season, i.e. before Christmas? How quickly can I turn that return round? Because some products will be bought for Christmas. I mean, Christmas trees and decorations are the obvious one. In December and November, everyone wants to buy a Christmas tree and decorations. In January, not so many. You'll get people that will buy them because they're heavily discounted, ready for next year. So try and turn your stock around immediately. Most retailers try and clear their order book every day. So every order, by the time they shut the warehouse up, has been shipped. You should also be processing your returns at the same day, so that every return that came in today has been processed, the customer refunded or an exchange item sent, and importantly, the stock put back on the shelf and back on the virtual shelf on your on your website or on your marketplaces to resell. And the other thing to consider is, will you offer extended returns? I.e., you may have a 14-day or a 30-day return policy, but if I'm buying on Black Friday, the 27th of November, for a Christmas present, I probably won't find if that item's not quite suitable until December the 25th, when it's opened on Christmas Day. So offering extended returns into the middle of January is a great idea, not because you'll necessarily get more returns, but because it offers customers confidence that when they're buying your product, you're still going to be there for them in January if there is a problem. For instance, occasionally you get a product which you open the box and the box is perfect, but inside there's a fault with the product. Or if it's clothing, it may just be the wrong size and people just want to exchange for a different size. So consider offering extended returns, but don't forget, it's not all about shipping and getting the item sold, and at the point of shipping your job's done. Legally, we have a responsibility to accept returns when we're from distance selling regulations when we're selling on the internet. So we have to do it. We have to offer returns, so we may as well make our customers feel good by letting them know up front we're really happy to accept returns if there's an issue. Because at the end of the day, if they want to return something, you've got no choice but to accept the return anyway. Now, Joe, we kind of mentioned MyHermes a bit. Can you just give us a bit of an overview of the services that you offer if people are interested in using you this Christmas?
I can do, and I'll keep it nice and short. So MyHermes, we've got around 5,000 parcel shops in the UK, which means you can drop your parcels off early or late. So for those of you that maybe fulfill it in an evening, you can on the way to school or on your way to work, you can drop off at a parcel shop. So, and normally our vans pick up round about 11 to 12. So if you do fulfil in the evening, it means if you drop off early at a parcel shop, they're likely to be picked up that day. We offer a 2-day service with parcel shop drop off and a 3-day with courier. But sometimes we do it a little bit faster. I'm not going to guarantee that, but occasionally we'll do a little bit faster than that. But normally we offer a 2-day and a 3-day service. And if you do use services like Amazon, eBay, Zen Stores, Channel Advisor, Limworks, we integrate with those to make it easy so you don't have to upload each parcel individually. I had a meeting with the guys from Zen Stores a few weeks ago, and they've got a great little product, especially if you're on eBay, that can help you, do all your fulfillment. It just makes it a lot easier, so you're not having to upload a parcel at a time to our website. And you don't have to be business customers to do that. You just log in, get a registration, and then when you on your login screen, you can choose import shipments and you can choose your method. So if you're on eBay, you can import your eBay orders, Amazon, Zen Stores, Channel Advisor. And if you're not using any of those and you've just got a CSV file, you can use that as an upload mechanism as well. And finally, I think we're, I can't make absolute promises, but we're as ready for peak as we can be. We've got Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Manic Tuesday, I can't remember the names of them all, but they're all coming up, and we've got robust plans in place to make sure that all that volume will go through our network this Christmas and through. We think that there'll probably be a selling season from sort of the 2nd or 3rd week in November right up until the usual time when, as me, panic buying on the 22nd, 23rd, something like that, but we know that it's going to be busy. We don't yet know how Black Friday, Cyber Monday and all those days are going to turn out, but we're anticipating that it's going to be much, much bigger than last year. So we've got plans in place to deal with that as well.
And am I right that you've just increased your capacity in Warrington by building a second tier on your sortation? So there's like a bottom level of conveyor belts, and then you built a second level on top?
Yeah, I think it means, I'm going to have to double check my facts here, but I think we can do about 1 million parcels a day at peak. So we've got two conveyor belts, as it were, working one on top of another.
So just double the capacity.
Just double the capacity. And we've just broken ground on a super hub somewhere over in, I think it's just outside Rugby. So yeah, we're investing in the future, definitely.
Fantastic. Good to know, Joe. Thank you. So if anyone's got any questions, we'll be happy to answer them. Paul, have we got any questions that have been asked at the moment? Or
we've
answered
the ones that have come in sort of while we've been doing it. There is one other that just says it was bad last year. Are couriers better prepared for Christmas this year?
It's a very good question. I don't think it's fair to ask Joe that one, having just told us how prepared MyHermes are.
Well, yeah, no, clearly MyHermes are very prepared. Is that across the board, do you think? Are couriers better prepared this year?
I think
I would say...
Sorry, Joe, yeah.
I don't mind answering it very quickly. I think we've recruited a lot more couriers, and they're all very clear on what they need to do. It's not just about making sure that the hubs are working.
Yeah, I think last year a lot of couriers were kind of caught out on the hop, and it wasn't just couriers, it was retailers as well that were caught by surprise. I know that people that are ordering stuff for click and collect, I don't want to name check people unfairly, but Marks and Spencers were in the press a little bit last year because people were buying click and collect expecting it to be at the local Marks and Spencer store, and they just couldn't get the stock delivered to their own stores in time. And the big supermarkets, so their click and collect were often the same, and couriers themselves were caught out. Everyone is much more prepared this year, both retailers and couriers, but it's also predicted by a company called Salmon that this Black Friday will be the first day in the UK where £1 billion is spent online in a single day. And capacity is going to be stretched to the absolute limits. And that's why I'd say to a lot of retailers, don't promise next day delivery, promise an economy service, give yourself some time. Don't try and dispatch everything the same day. Obviously, if someone upgrades to next day delivery, get those parcels out on the day. But everything else, just let it slide a couple of days and ease your stock out over 2 or 3 days rather than trying to get everything out on Black Friday evening. Because if every retailer tried to ship everything on Black Friday, it just won't happen. The courier capacity in the whole country hasn't got the capacity to ship that much stock in one day. We learnt that last year, so I suspect a lot of retailers this year will not be promising next day delivery on Black Friday, but they'll be offering economy services and allowing you to upgrade, which will basically you help your customers by helping the couriers and not over-promising what we just know can't happen.
Brilliant. Okay, well, we're just coming up to time there. I haven't had any other further questions come in, so I think we'll leave it there. You can contact Chris and Joe, or indeed me, through eSeller or via Chris at tamebay.com. Let me just thank Chris and Joe for taking part. Bye-bye.